Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat on this Tuesday. Kevin Brockway with me. Tim Baldwin, the second of the top 3 running backs for Indiana, into the portal. And I'll be honest with you, this is pretty easy to rat out to figure out what happened here. He fumbled the ball against Cincinnati in a crucial moment that could have helped Indiana win that game, which would have probably really turned their season around, because that's going to be a game that continues to haunt them all year. It might be the game that ends up keeping them out of a bowl game. But then in the next game at Western Kentucky, he nearly fumbled again, got it back, but that would have been probably a game-losing turnover. Western Kentucky was, I don't know, that who knows what would have happened, but that could have happened there. He gets 1 carry at Penn State, and then he goes into the portal. Monday, in talking to Tom Allen, that's the question that I asked him, was about this. And you could tell that he wasn't happy. This is just me gleaming from how he talked, Kevin, and his body language, basically. He wasn't happy that he left. I don't think they were happy that Samson James left, but Samson James had kind of been a wanderer of sorts. But because Tom Allen talks about finding the right fits of players, the right player that for their program and all this, and that's so important to him. And I think he feels let down. I'm almost positive he feels let down when he puts that hope and trust into a player, and they do this on what I'm guessing is leaving because they're not getting the ball or whatever the case may be. But let's hear what Tom Allen had to say when I asked him that question about Tim Baldwin.
Well, there's no doubt it affects our depth without question. And so other young men are going to have to step up. We do have several in that room. David Holland, as I mentioned, as a freshman, will have opportunities to be able to step into that role. Charlie Spiegel, another young man that's here, has been here in his second season, understands our system, big, strong young man that has done a good job for us, and so he'll get his opportunity as well. And so, so to me, it's other guys will have a chance to step up and fill that void. So bottom line is that this is a football team. And I want guys that are all in, bought in, and ready to do whatever is necessary and whatever the role may be, that they're the guys that we can count on, that they're smart, tough, and dependable. And that dependability piece is a huge thing. So, that to me is this is the awesome thing about this sport. That's why I love football so much, that we always say 2 things reveal who you really are. And that is over time and with pressure. And time and pressure reveal who we are, and they expose things. And so to me, it gives us a chance to really know who our players are and who we can count on. And when things get hard, you want to be able to have guys that you know that you trust and you can depend on them. So that's what we're figuring out as this process goes through, and that's what adversity does. So excited to see this team respond and see who steps up into those roles.
I don't think that he left much to the imagination there. I mean, I think he was pretty dead on what he was saying, and that on what I said, they're all about the fits and the time and the pressure. That's how you form diamonds, time and pressure. And that's what he's talking about. That the guys that they thought that were good fits, not good fits, and he's referring to Tim Baldwin, who basically didn't get his way, not getting the carries, whatever. I don't know what's going on in that room. I'm not in the room, but you can pretty much ascertain it by his comments and body language.
Yeah, and don't forget, Baldwin was a guy that averaged 6.1 yards per carry last year. As a freshman, he was a nice kind of story in terms of a guy that really, had some and ran for over 100 yards against Maryland. So he showed some talent and he showed some ability. But ball security is so important, and certainly that game against Cincinnati, where he really started out in that Cincinnati game running the ball well. And I thought he would accept that role as a number 2 back for a year because Stephen Carr was a grad transfer. But obviously, was upset with that role. And, you've got some guy, Davion Irvin Poindexter is an interesting guy, walk on, who's worked his way up. I think he assumes that number 2 role. I think they trust him blocking. And even that kid, Chris Childers, the transfer from Indiana State, has seen a carry or 2 here and there. So you got those 2, you got Charlie Spiegel, and you got David Holloman, who now becomes the second scholarship guy, though. And I think he's a guy that is going to be, interesting to see, because we heard a lot of good things about him in camp. He might get some opportunities too to show a little bit of his worth, but a lot of it's Stephen Carr, and a lot of it is, like I said, the 5 guys up front. You got to open holes for guys, and Michigan State will be very telling in terms of that in a couple of weeks. Not just running the football too with Michigan State, but stopping the run, because they have the best running back in the league right now, in Kenneth Walker III, another guy who's really burst on the scene. You talk about a back that's burst on the scene and done a really good job. That guy has really fueled Michigan State's turnaround as much as anyone this season.